not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Yeah, intimacy is basically the interpersonal relationship between two married couples. Let me put it like this, between a husband and wife, sharing things in common.
Intimacy in marriage is it's about friendship, it's about closeness, the bond between you and your spouse.
I see the word intimacy as one of the major ingredients in marriage, because when you and your spouse are very, very intimate, yeah, then you have a very good home. You know, very peaceful, loving home. And in our world, as far as we are concerned, the word of elders, where the peace reigns, then you have progress.
It's also a level of depth of relationship that exists between a husband and wife in marriage. It spans across sharing of so many things together, you know, love, affections, moments of joy, sometimes moments of sadness, a lot like that, gift, you know, and so on and so forth.
That's what intimacy is about. We have types of intimacy. We have the physical intimacy, emotional, spiritual intimacy. So looking at for marriage, we have the emotional intimacy. Could you even say we have the sexual intimacy as well?
And so a lack of intimacy could lead to infidelity in a way that if a particular husband and wife have been sharing things together, they've been very close, and suddenly one of the party is denying the other what he or she is entitled to, it could lead to infidelity, whereby the other party that has been cheated on or being denied rather goes out in seeking for that which he or she has been denied of.
Wow, lack of intimacy. Like I said, intimacy is this bond, this closeness. Now when you don't have this closeness or this bond between you and your spouse, things are bound to happen. When you love your spouse so much, you care about him, the love in your heart for him is so much and all, you won't bother looking outside or looking at someone else, or let me say looking at someone that is more handsome or has more wealth or any other thing, but your focus is just in him. A lot of people today don't have that intimacy between their spouse, and like I will say, intimacy starts from even when the relationship started, not when you get into marriage. It builds up. It's not something that starts all of a sudden just because we've met in intimacy. No. When I met my husband, I made up my mind that I wanted this to work. When I was sure it was going to be the one, I just wanted it to work. So I made up my mind that, okay, I'm going to tell him practically everything about me. I call him, I send text messages like 5 times in a day, we talk.
Lack of intimacy is a quick weapon to drive one into infidelity. Once you're not close to your husband or your wife, you're prone to, drive your way into infidelity, and before you know, it's not good at all, but it's happening, and so I just feel that there will be a solution one day. Once you come to yourself and discover that which you're doing to your spouse, which you weren't doing before, that is bad, and you fix it.
Either of the spouse, whether the husband or the wife, is forced to look outside or is pushed outside. When one party is not getting what he or she wants, could be attention, because I love attention a lot, and my husband knows that.
It could be, sharing of moments together that was existing but no longer existing. So
couples at times they don't have trust in each other in marriage. Maybe the love they had for each other had even gone down. They end up seeing the wife maybe meeting with her ex or something, and things begin to happen and causes infidelity.
Marriage, thank God, is in marriage. In marriage, once you're married to your spouse, you are entitled to everything.
And if I should say the solution, first, God is the foundation of every home.
And so, share moments together, transparency, openness of heart. That's also transparency, but you could say openness of heart. Then you go practical.
Let there be trust between both of you. This relationship, I usually tell people, is my best friend. My husband is my best friend, not any lady, or he is my best friend. So we relate. Even I can tell him things I can tell ladies, because it's between both of us. That intimacy is there. So make your spouse your best friend.
Take your spouse out, go to the cinemas, jog out, stroll out, travel. If you have to travel out of town, travel out of town. Sometimes you could, if your kids are grown, or your children are grown, put them somewhere, and both of you should just have a time out. It renews love. It renews vows. Before you know it, your marriage is getting refreshed over and over and over and over again.
What we have to do to protect our marriages at home, we have to be faithful to our spouses, be you a man or woman out there. We have to be loving to our spouse. We have to be understanding. When you have this, it promotes a good home.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. You are watching Emotions with Omenesa. And this show is pretty much a show to encourage you and to tell you over and over again not to let your emotions control you. Instead, control your emotions. Today our topic is on intimacy and infidelity. Oh, believe me, both of them work hand in hand. I wrote this titled Itch, and I hope that you enjoy it, because I'm going to give you, as soon as I'm done with telling you this very, very short story, I'm going to give you tips on how to be intimate with your spouse. I have been in the marriage boat for a while, and I think that I know a little bit of information that I can give to you. So here's the topic, Itch. Her husband doesn't want it all the time, at most thrice a month. She straddles her hind, she caresses her breast, she winks her eyes, and he doesn't get it. She puts on a new fragrance, shaves her legs, combs her hair, freshens her breath, but he still doesn't get it. She sends him love letters, slaps him on the cheek, kisses his ears, talks softly, pinches his nipples. He still doesn't get it. Stacy is itching for conglomeration. She longs for the gap to close, because they barely speak to each other, because he's always on his phone. She buries herself in her work, and he completely is aloof. She itches. He stays up night replying to emails. He sits in his favorite corner, texting and testing while she waits for him to notice that she is waiting. She's not waiting to exhale. She's not waiting to hump or rump. She's not even waiting to accuse him of making her wait. She's simply waiting for his smile, a hug of assurance, a kiss of affection, a touch of love, and then maybe a slide of consolation. She imagines her strokes with every second ticking to heightened ecstasy, but she experiences none. She experiences no smile and no sex. So she itches. She itches to her daily affairs. She itches to answer the phone. She itches to strangers' compliments. She itches to cheap approaches. She itches to everything. She's in danger now. So now she itches to everything and to everyone because cold showers no longer work. She dodges the corners that arouse yet another itch. She runs from its luring invitations. But it's been so long since she's attended to an itch. So she reciprocates a wink. Stacy attends to that itch. She decides to attend to it because her husband, the only man that she loves, remains aloof because he's locked himself up in his mental castle. Work, work, work. She's become numb to his nonchalance. She doesn't want pornography. She doesn't even want vibrators. She wants him. And at this point, he does not have to be him as long as it's a he. So she knocks. He opens. She itches. He scratches. Relief. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the story of infidelity. And infidelity stems from lack of intimacy. It goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. And the story I just told you about, I wrote it from a place of contemplation, and I'm not even gonna lie. Because at the beginning of my marriage, my husband was married to his guitar. He was married to everything but me. And that's because he is a more quiet person. I'm I'm like a in-your-face type of person. I'm just a go-getter. I'm just forward. I'm just there, but my man is more very reserved. And I would be like, dude, come out of your cocoon, please. And now God has really, really worked on his life. But I got inspired by this topic at the beginning of the marriage. Simply because I needed more attention. I needed the man to speak to me. I needed us to have a conversation. And he also needed me to do some things. And it was from the experiences in my marriage that made me decide to have this show and to talk to you about the pitfalls of not having a close-knit relationship with your spouse. Infidelity is at a very, very high rate. And let me tell you something, you could be in love with somebody, be completely head over heels for somebody, and still cheat on them. Because cheating is a physical thing. Cheating is flesh. So, if your needs are not being met, it doesn't have to be a sexual need. As long as your needs are not being met in your marriage, there will be a deficit. There will be a crack. There will be a hole. And basically, in my marriage, my husband was dealing with me and how I would yell and scream. I had such a very, very bad way of communicating to my husband. So I would yell and I would scream, and that was my way of communication. His way of communication was to withdraw and to be quiet. And of course, when you withdraw and when you're quiet, there's no sex. So of course, there was no sex, then there was somebody yelling, and then there was somebody not talking. That is a recipe for disaster in a marriage. We both got very, very uncomfortable with the setting of our marriage. We got really, really uncomfortable with not feeling anything, because that's what problems in marriage does. It gets to a point that the issues are so much or so many, you don't even feel anything anymore. You don't feel anything about the marriage anymore, Like, You start thinking about, oh, what if I married that guy? And now he's thinking about, what if I married Susan? Or what if I married so-and-so? Let me tell you, everybody has their baggage and everybody has their demon. So you might as well deal with your own demon and everything will work out fine. I have found out in marriage that it doesn't take two to make a marriage. It takes one person to make a marriage. It takes one willing person to make a marriage. If you are willing to work on yourself, the marriage will work. So if your husband works on himself and if you work on yourself, boom, you have fireworks. Okay? You have a great marriage. But in my case, we were not individually ready to deal with our demons. So no sex, no communication, or yelling and screaming was my form of communication. And at some point, we just had to sit down and just say, hey, we need to make this work. It's either we divorce or we make it work. And we had enough sense to know that if we divorced, we're going to have to get married to somebody else, and we would also inherit all of their baggage. So the grass is not greener on the other side. Just go ahead and water the plants on your side. Go ahead and water the greens on your side. And you would see that you could actually live with it. And you don't have to bear it. You just have to work hard on making it as green and as beautiful as your neighbors. So, what are the tips? What are the tips of having an intimate marriage? First of all, date night. My husband and I do not play with that. It could be a Friday night, it could be a Thursday night, but it's very, very important that you do have date night with your spouse. You dress up and you go to a really nice restaurant. Well, it doesn't have to be so expensive, but just make sure that both of you spend time together. You watch a movie together. You go to a restaurant, or, you know, you just have a date. Have a date. Go out on a date. Another thing that would really help intimacy in your marriage is that every day, set a time, an hour or 2 hours, where both of you talk. Both of you talk about everything that happened on that day. Both of you exchange your ideas, and you know, and just have a proper conversation, and just talk about how the day went. Talk about how you feel. I wouldn't talk about my issues at that time. Like when my husband and I are talking every day about how our day went, we don't use that opportunity to talk about what you did. Oh, honey, you did this and I don't like it. No. We don't use that day for that. That day is to catch up. I would suggest that you have another day where both of you iron out your issues. So like this day is to iron out our issues. This day is for us to sit down and talk about it, which means that the other 6 days of the week, you are not talking about issues. You are not talking about problems. You are complimenting each other. You are having sex. You are kissing each other. You are going out. You are complimenting each other. You are helping each other succeed in your business, in your career. You are taking care of the children. You are being positive and being nice. And then on that day, it's not that you're not going to be nice on that day, but on that day is when both of you sit down and you talk about your issues. That way, you are cultivating a positive environment. You are cultivating a positive atmosphere. You don't want a situation where 7 days a week, you're fighting for 7 days a week. You're always correcting something 7 days a week. You're just bickering and yelling and screaming and fighting. No. So that's my suggestion to you, is that you have just one day where both of you could talk about all those issues. But every day, both of you do need to have spent time together. And it doesn't have to be something that's just like so crazy. I mean, it doesn't have to be sex. But watch TV together. I personally don't like to do the TV thing unless we are out on a movie date. Because if we're watching TV together on our catching up time, it takes away from actually listening to each other. So that's just a suggestion. I would suggest being very transparent about your finances. Husbands and wives don't like to talk about money, but they do like to spend money. They do like to buy food, of course. They do like to buy stuff for the children. They like they would love to pay the rent. They would love to buy a car. You can't do all of that if you're hoarding your money and hiding your money. So I would suggest that both of you do have a joint account. My husband and I have a joint account where his money goes in there and my money goes in there, and we have a percentage that we take for our individual selves. Okay, that's like for our lives, like my hair or his shoes or whatever, or if he wants to buy land or stuff like that. But then we have like an account where it's both of us. This is for the rent. This is for the gas. This is for the children. This is for this. This is for that. You know, so I would suggest that both of you are very, very transparent about your finances, because if you're transparent about money, if you can talk about money to your spouse, then you can talk about anything. So let's be transparent about money, and then let's also give gifts. Please, let's give gifts. I like what my husband does. He went for counseling once, and he was told, and I was also told, that you never come back home without something for your husband or for your wife. Just come back home with something. It could be a really small earring. It could be ice cream. It could be anything, but don't come back home empty-handed, you know, because you're already going to come back home with stories of how the day went and all that. So you might as well just have something that both of you could share and talk about and appreciate. Oh, thank you so much. And my husband has cultivated that big time. He comes home with a purse or with a shoe or with an earring or something as small as fries, as chips, as candy. You know, come home with something. Make your spouse know that you do love them. Make your spouse know that you care. And then another point is, please do make love. Do have sex. I know people who actually write it down. They schedule sex. Okay, that's okay. I don't even know what that means. Some people are so busy that they do have to schedule sex. Okay, whether you schedule it or you don't schedule it, please have it. Have it 3 or 4 times a week is fine, because during sex, not only does it reduce tension, it also makes both of you bond. It makes both of you closer. Even the things that you can't say, you find out that sex goes ahead and says it on your behalf. Like, if you're so angry with your spouse, but you still do love your spouse, when you have sex, like, it just has a way of simmering it down. You know, sex is a powerful tool, so I advise that you use it, but only in marriage, okay? And you can use it for as much as you want to, as long as you are married, because a home that is deprived of intimacy, a home that is deprived of sex, my goodness, it is heading to a dead end. It would not work. You would make the spouse extremely bitter and extremely angry, especially if you're getting it outside. So why don't you bring outside inside? You know, why don't you turn that spouse into whatever it is that you admire? When I see a man wearing a really, really nice suit, when I see a cute tie on a man, when I see something that is just so admirable, I go to the store and I buy it. I buy it for my husband. Most of the ties my husband owns is for me, because I love ties. And I don't want to have to be drooling and be looking at another man in a tie. I would rather just be faithful and look at you. So whatever tickles your fancy, go ahead and bring it into your marriage, as long as it's godly. And lastly, I would like for us to talk about listening. Oh my gosh. I told you that in my marriage, I used to be a generator. For those of you who live in a third world country, you know what a generator means. It is very loud. It's loud. And one day, I was actually hearing the generator of the neighbor. It wasn't even my generator. It was the generator of a neighbor, and it was so loud. And I was like, oh my gosh, is that how I sound? I mean, like, instantly, I felt that to be a symbolism of how I yell and scream at my husband. I'm not calling him names. I'm not calling him stupid and idiot. No, I don't do that. But just a simple conversation, my voice will go up because I felt like he wasn't listening. So I thought that maybe the higher I went, maybe he would listen. But no, it doesn't work like that with men. No man is going to listen to you when you're yelling like that. You know, and I had to learn when I heard the generator. I felt that to be a symbolism, a metaphor of how I was yelling. So I decided that I was going to become an inverter. Okay, an inverter. That is that's another source of electricity in Africa. It's silent. Nobody knows it's there, but it gives light. And it still does the same job. It gives electricity. So you want your spouse to listen to you? You can't shout. You want love in your marriage? You're going to have sex. You're going to have to take each other out on dates. You're going to have to cuddle. You're going to have to be transparent with your finances. Talk about everything. Turn that person into your best friend. Remember, the grass is not greener on the other side. You can go ahead and water your own plants too, and you will be just as happy as your neighbors. Till next time. You will have to jump off a cliff just knowing that you will not crash. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.